Here's the data. Same setup as the previous page. I want you to first ignore something for now. It's something that drives me crazy. I know you're probably looking at saying, well, Jesus, you've been complaining about all the nulls, and there they are for empty initial. You're right. I don't like it. But what I'm more worried about, and there's still nulls in here, is employee type. P was for pilot, A was for accountant, and M was a mechanic. Wow. Notice there's still some blanks. We need to fill that later. But that helps us to break up the data so that I know if I'm looking at a pilot. 101 is, looks like Lewis Marcos, or Marcos Lewis. I know because the employee type, I need to go to pilot. I need to grab 101, there he is, and then all certifications or whatever, okay? So these two tables are worthless by themselves. Literally, they're worthless. We are doing a linking, which is actually using both a primary key and the foreign key in order to go ahead and link the two together. And we are going to have the employee type help us define which one. Now, by the way, here's pilot, accountant or mechanics table is not there. I was trying to keep this image kind of short, but all of those tables would really be in here for this particular example and overall setup, but I didn't show it. Let's put it that way. Now, employee type helps me determine which table I will be looking at next, and employee number is helping me, well, frankly, match things back and forth between who the employee is that they all share, first name, last name, middle initial, when they were hired. That's all of them, no matter what. Pilot, mechanics, why am I having a tough time with that? And accountants. That's how we're relating with all these using inheritance. See, here's the next step. Inheritance hasn't changed. Well, let me take it back. The inheritance hasn't changed, but who we're doing this for has changed. That's employee, administrator, professor. Now, just because we have inheritance doesn't mean that the super type can't have a relationship. That sounds weird, but bear with me here. This relationship is not using inheritance, but what it's saying is that every employee is going to have an office. Now, using exactly what our characteristics are here. Okay. Now, because every employee is going to have an office, doesn't it make sense if the administrator is an employee, is it going to have an office? Yeah. Is a professor, because they're an employee, are they going to have an office? Yep, sure does. So because the relationship is linked to employee, that means everybody from there on down is going to have access to that same entity as well. Now that changes a little bit depending on where this is linked. And I'm going to show you that here in a second. In this example, it's very similar to what we did. Here's our inheritance, here's our discriminator, and our subtypes. Like I said in the previous page, if we had something over here with an entity that was linked to the supertype, then everybody gets access to it. But let's say your subtype has a relationship with another entity. Then that only affects this particular subtype. It will not reflect on anybody else, the other subtypes. It will not reflect on the supertype. And this actually shouldn't be new to you because of kind of how inheritance and programming works as well. If you include something that wasn't included in the supertype, well, then it belongs locally to that particular subtype. Same idea in programming. But notice just one addition of a relationship to a subtype does not reflect on everybody else.